Today's episode of the Ross Cloud podcast is sponsored in part by GospelStationCharts.com, where you can view gospel radio station song charts and track the promotion of your song, such as view how many stations are playing your song and how often, including what day and time your song played. Check it out now. Visit GospelStationCharts.com.
And we recorded MO Money, and which Sah's doing the hook on that.
Yeah.
And we recorded a video. We filmed the video with that. Who Tut, again, our relationships in the hood. Shane and Tut, help finance, or they finance the video for us to for the song, the single MO Money, and we did the B side of the track, which was Keep It in the Family. And small fact on that Keep It in the Family, that track, actually Mobb Deep and Coogee Rap, who was one of my favorite MCs, recorded on that beat.
That's what I mean. You have Naughty by Nature, heard you mention Tretch. They had a chance to see Vinny within the documentary. So this was just beautiful. I was like, wow, so much inspiration around you all. And you know what I love? You guys are still continuing. You didn't quit. Hello and welcome to the Ross Cloud podcast. I'm your host, Chris Ross. And this platform was created to motivate and to inspire in hopes that you will become a better you as we travel through the clouds of life, empowering one another. I'd like to give a shout out to everybody that's listening all over the world. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Ross Cloud podcast. Listen, we have a very, very special guest with us. 3 special guests with us here on today. And if you're like me, it's right at 50 years, but I'm 51 almost. I want to say 51 years of hip hop. So this is a big deal. And I'm going to say this, but I am kind of paraphrasing a little bit on this. Okay. So it's 3 dope artists, 2 MCs, and my DJ, go DJ, and a DJ. And you guys have found yourself navigating through a male-dominated industry, but have found a way to stay relevant in a beautiful way. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna hold you guys up any longer. We have Miss Kandi Kain in the building. We have Sah-B in the building. Hey. And we have DJ Twista.
Hey.
Yes. Ladies.
1, 2.
Yeah. Come on now. Yes. What's happening, ladies? Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence here on the platform. It is such an honor to have you all here.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. And you guys are from Jersey.
Jersey is the craziest.
Big Jersey.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, Illtown. Yeah.
Illtown by way of Brick City.
By way of Brick City. That's right. I absolutely love that. I'm a huge fan of Redman, Bill Bellamy. The list goes on and on. TK Kirkland. I mean, geez.
Are we going with the comedians?
Yeah, I'm going with everybody. Come on.
Ice.
Yeah. So I mean, this is cool. Were the Lords of the Underground from New Jersey too?
Yeah.
I'm right.
And I think didn't Do It All go to it? And I think he went to college here.
I think so.
Shaw University.
Shaw University. You're absolutely right.
That's where he met Mr. Funky Man and Lord Jazz. They met in college.
Wow.
Full circle.
I love it. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it now. So this is amazing. Listen, I am so excited. I really didn't know how to start this, but I'm going to start it like this.
Open it up.
Yeah. When did your love for hip hop begin? And it doesn't matter who goes first, and then you guys can go around in a circle however you want to do it. But when did your love for hip hop begin?
For me, For me? Okay. So I would say for me, my love for hip hop began, I'm going to say around the time of Beat Street. So right before that, you know, we would hear, like my mom had a collection of records, not like Twista's mom, but she would always have some break beats.
Gotcha.
So I kind of envisioned or thought I wanted to be a B-girl, a break dancer. But I love the culture. I love the fashion. I loved the art. It was just something that seemed like it was for us. And watching Beat Street, you saw like Lee. I had the biggest crush on Lee. And when you saw someone like your age, and you thought immersed into the culture. So that's where I wanted to be. I love that whole scene.
Yeah.
With us girls, I figured me and my girls would be Debbie, D, Lisa Lee, and Shy-Rock. Like I love that whole thing. Yeah, so
I love it. Okay, Sah-B, if you want to chime in.
Yeah, for me it was around 85, 86. Listening to, you know, the radio, Mr. Magic, Marley Marl, Red Alert, that whole era, Roxanne Shante, you know, and that whole Roxanne Shante Revenge, and all of those different versions of Roxanne. Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh, Sparky D, Moski, you know, that era. So that's when I pretty much fell in love. I fell in love with hip hop.
Woo, yes. God, taking me down memory lane. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, DJ Twista, what you got?
Same for me, same time frame.
Gotcha.
You know, the break dancing. I used to have a boyfriend that used to go out on the beach strip and break dance real good. That's when they used to put the cardboard down and do those little stuff. And you like looking like, oh my God, he going to burn his back with some road rash. But yeah, it was around that time when everything was like pure and, you know, everything was grown and it wasn't all mechanical that, you know, as it is now. But yeah, around that time frame, that was the best. The 80s.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was the best era. I have to totally agree with you on that. Just so much art, as you stated before. The graffiti. I even had a pair of pants that had graffiti on it and a jacket, you know.
Same.
Yeah, you know, so and I had to have a pair of suede Pumas with fat laces.
Absolutely.
It was a must.
What color you had?
I had a green pair.
Oh, the money green.
You know, if you had green,
the
you
money
had green, you would say something when you had the green.
Gotta be green.
Yeah.
That's my color too.
Yeah. And I fought tooth and nail. I told my mom, I said, I'll make all A's and B's. I gotta have a pair. Okay. and back then, you know, it was Lee's. I had a pair of pinstripe Lee's. Okay. And I had, I'm going way back.
So we had the Lee's with the permanent crease in it.
Come on,
Yes. Don't forget the bombers and the Sherlins.
The sheepskin.
Yeah.
Everybody in your crew had to have a sheepskin. Everybody had a different version. The jacket, the full length. You had the one with the hoodie. Like,
yeah, I love that. I love that. So when did you guys first meet each other? I kind of saw it a little bit, but I like to tell those that haven't had the opportunity to see the documentary, which they will, because we're going to make sure we plug that.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah, we got to do that now.
You got to go see B-Girls Untold, okay?
Yes. So how did you guys meet? Let's start there. How did this begin, this sisterhood, if you would?
Well, let's start with my big sister.
All right.
I know she good. Well, I play like this all the time, Twista, because we've known each other since like the 5th grade, 10 years old.
Okay.
When I first moved to East Orange, we were in the same class. In the 5th grade, I think that's when we met in Miss Cadasco class. I think it was at Nassau School. And I think we were in each other's class, the same class, going all the way up to high school. So Twist and I, we've been Laverne and Shirley for a long time. So I think pulled her into, I think I want to say I dragged you into this, didn't I, Twist?
Pretty much, because she always had like this little poetry book. She's a writer. So she's always writing something and dragging me along with doing performances in the playground for our classmates and stuff. And so we do like little R&B performances. You know, this is before we
the
really
Supreme. We was doing the Supremes that back
like
then.
Oh man, I love it.
all those old school R&B songs. Tell Me Have You Seen Her and all that kind of stuff like that. So yeah, she dragged me in like that, and then you know, I realized as we was coming, like really getting into it, I was like, well, wait a minute, you know, I could really do this DJ thing. You know, I'm talented with music, so let me try the DJ thing. You do the rhyming, and we gonna be a group, and that's that's just how it started.
Oh, I got you.
And when we first started out, I think it was 4 of us. It was supposed to be 2 female MCs and 2 female DJs.
Okay.
And we were good and plenty. And we would go to Godfather D's house and practice, you know, rehearse our lyrics. And he was teaching Twist how to DJ and really teaching me the backbone of like being a lyricist and being how to flow and how to ride the beat, that kind of thing.
Sure.
By this time, I think we didn't meet Sah until I think I met Sah around in the 90s. Sah had already had a deal.
Oh, really?
Right. She was already signed to Warner Brothers, and I was still recording a demo. And everybody kept saying, like, you should hook up with Sah-B. And because we were part of a male crew, all male crew, and was trying to find that solidarity with another female MC.
Sure.
So Sah name always came up. It was either Sah-B or Egypt. And someone introduced us, or did
we had actually met in the mall.
Okay.
I ran into you in the mall because you knew my sister. Like my sister.
That's right.
Tracy, and we ran into each other in the mall, and you were like, your name's Sah-B, right? And I was like, yeah. And we kind of, you know, hooked up, connected. And I think we exchanged numbers in the mall. And from that meeting, we connected, and we wound up doing a session with Mufi. We kind of just, you know, just started working and stuff like that. And then that's when I found out they were doing some community work with the organization Sister for Sisters. And so we connected on the music level, and I started volunteering with their organization, Sister for Sisters. So that's how we just pretty much bonded and created the sisterhood.
Oh, I love that. That is such a beautiful story. It's not what you know, but who you know.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden here's this
that you build.
Yes. Relationships is key. If you would speak to relationships, the value of relationships when you first meet as it pertains to business, at music, art, all of that. If you would, could you take a little bit of time and speak to the importance of relationships and having a relationships, the importance of that bond?
Right. So I think like you need to first form it with your family. It first start with your family and how you build with your family. Sometimes, you know, it might not be the greatest thing with your family. So then you build it outwards with your friends, your peers, those who be around you. And like literally we just went on like a girls trip, and it was like 8 or 9 of us, and we've all been friends from like 3rd grade, 5th grade. I think some of us went back as far as 3rd grade, and we remained friends all the way through, thick and thin. You know, you can build with each other. So you need that kind of, you know, background and that strength from not only your family, but your friends as well. Those who are in your close proximity, you know, you're going to go through. Some is there for a reason, season, lifetime, like the saying says. But you work through that, and then you carry that into your work ethics and your business. When you get out here in the world and you got to start paying bills and making that money,
that's right.
You carry those ethics over with you. And it's just about, you know, being really honest, true to yourself, and then true to others, and being loyal. I think loyalty plays a big part in it. And so I just fell right into it because that's just who she is. She has great work ethics. She's, you know, an honest and loyal person. And so we just all connected that way. And there was no like, you know, no
cattiness. No backstabbing.
Never any of that ever happened.
Yeah, we just all just kind of meshed. And I would just add to that is that, you know, relationships is like it's your social currency. Like we're all trying to navigate our way through this industry. And sometimes when you don't have the money to do certain things, but you can barter your relationships with other people and leverage those relationships to make things happen, you know. And it kind of I always looked up to Twist and Kain as big sisters because they really were like mentors for me too. So those are some relationships that once we connected, we have maintained those relationships, and they're always, you know, two individuals who I know you can go to for advice or, you know, whatever the case may be. So relationship is very important in any industry, period.
Sure. Yeah. Beautifully said. You want to add something to that, Kandi?
They both said everything I would say, but the only thing I guess I would add to that is it's about your self relationship, the way that you treat yourself.
Oh, I love that.
And I love the way that they both, Twista and Sah, they have strong, we're going to always say work ethics because we work together very well.
Sure.
But I love the way that they treat themselves, the way that they handle themselves in any situation. So if they're going to treat themselves good, I know that they're going to treat me is as good, if not, I'm not going to say better than themselves, but they're going to give you what they give themselves. And I always see them give themselves 100%.
Absolutely. Once you are able to love yourself, then you can carry that over into those relationships. You're absolutely right. I totally agree with you on that. Now, Sah-B, I want to take a step back a little bit, not really back, but I guess I could say forward. Upon you guys meeting, you already had a record deal. If you would, could you kind of talk about that a little bit, and then we'll continue to move forward. But if you would, I kind of want to talk about that. And if you could give some advice to maybe some, you know, younger females that may be trying to come up in this industry, maybe it's something that you could share that could help them. And you could take a little bit of time with that and kind of talk about that journey with signing your deal and that first deal with Warner Brothers, whether good or bad. And you don't have to divulge of a whole lot of information. This platform is not built that way. But I just want to, you know, it's about strategy and, you know, seeing the right things, what to look for, what not to look for. So if you can kind of speak on that, that'd be cool.
So I actually signed my deal in '93. I had got a production deal with Marley Marl, and that relationship came about through Do It All from the Lords of the Underground, because we were all we were all signed to Marley Marl's production company. Prior to me signing with Marley, I met Do It All through another crew that we were part of, RPT, which Redman was in that crew. And Redman and Do It All were a group before he signed with before he became part of the Lords of the Underground. He was in another group. Redman was his DJ at the time. So we were all coming up, you know, through in Newark, East Orange. We were just all coming up, and Marley was looking for a female MC at the time, and Do It All. You know, he had I remember he came to my house and, you know, first he called me or whatever. And he was like, yo, Marley's looking for a female MC. And my manager at the time, I had got a manager who was putting me in the studio. Shout out to my boy, Jay Slaughter. He had started putting me in the studio. So I had some songs already ready. So when Duke came, he, you know, picked up the demo and let Marley hear it. And shortly after that, we met, hopped on one of the Lord's songs for their first album, which was the Flow On track. And shortly after that, you know, we got a deal with Warner Brothers, Reprise Warner Brothers. And so that so I did put out a single. I was able to put out the Summer Days. The Summer Sah-B shit was the B-side. And the album was completely done. But what was happening was there was a change in the administration at the label, you know, that one of the whole Black music department kind of got, you know, let go. They made some changes, and, you know, people coming in, new regime, they got a new vision of who they want to put out. and my project kind of just got shelved pretty much. You know, we were putting out different singles. The industry at that time, I'm trying to think who was real hot at that time. Like we had the Brat was bubbling. The Brat was really big at that time, and I remember, you know, the labels, the execs, you know, they were wanting me to kind of change up and, you know, put out different singles. So we did a couple of things. But long story short, my project just pretty much got lost in the mix. And
Understood.
You know, some time went on, and then I just decided to go my separate ways. And in the process, I was doing some independent projects. My management and we put out a couple of independent singles and stuff like that. I was still performing and things like that. And but just nothing just really, you know, took off for me. And that's kind of like when I met Kain, and we put together, we did like an EP project. We started doing some stuff. So, you know, I was just still working. But my advice would be in today's industry, you know, just keep pushing. And you know, because one of the messages that I got from doing the documentary, and we talked about this too, is that the only reason why we probably didn't get as far as we would have gotten was because we just went on hiatus. We just pretty much kind of stopped, you know, because where the lane is now for artists, you know, you can do so much because it's right at your fingertips with the technology now. You know, it wasn't as easy for us back then, you know, to make these moves now. But my advice is just don't stop. Just keep pushing, you know, even if you have to take a small break, you know, if you love it, you know, just stay in it, just stay with it, stick with it, because it'll come.
I love it. I love you. Thank you for sharing that moment. So this is a great segue because it's going to help me continue to build these bricks here. Y'all from the Brick City.
I love that. I love that.
With background.
I see you.
Nice little dime on there. You know what I'm saying? Nice little dime on there.
Drop a bomb for that one.
Right on. So I heard a couple of names that you mentioned. One name a few minutes ago, Kandi. And of course, with me watching the documentary, I was going to ask you about these names. So it was a perfect segue after she got to talking about it, because now we can see how this merge happened. But there were some people that were kind of responsible for that merge happen. Again, it's not about what you know, but who you know. And word of mouth is sometimes the best advertisement ever. And so you definitely had to be on top of your game. So Godfather D, Cool V, and Asiatic. What does these gentlemen right here, what do they mean to the three of you all? But more importantly, how did they get the message out that, hey, Sah-B is over here, son?
Right. So it goes back to what you were saying, even with relationships, because initiating those relationships early on and still being able to call in now and ask for a favor. Hey, would you mind speaking in the documentary? Everyone that worked on the project with us on this Be Girls Unheard, with the exception of Mike Anderson, the director, is who we grew up with. Is everybody who had their foot in hip hop. And that was part of, the documentary, wanting to shed light, not just on some of the endeavors that we were doing, but more so what the city was doing, because everybody had their hands in wanting to be a part of this hip hop culture. And a lot of us didn't, maybe get the light and the recognition that we would have liked to have had, but nonetheless played a pivotal role in making some really great memories. So like Godfather D, he was the hot DJ at the time in the city that was playing all the parties at Our Lady Helper Christian, like all the school parties where everybody would go to their high school. And that, somehow or another, we knew that that's Cool V's cousin. So Cool V was the DJ for Bismarck. And it's like, well, maybe because we had local rap artists and hip hop groups that from around the way that we looked up to, that we wanted to really kind of emulate as well, like Super Six Lovers and Connie C. That was another one outside of the us girls who inspired me was Connie C, because she was the only female in a group full of male MCs.
Understood.
So that made me want to say, like, oh, I want to rap too.
Yeah.
So, you know, because I had poetry, it was just like, all right, now do I put these words to these break beats that I hear my mother playing?
Yeah.
So Godfather D was the person that we went to say, well, maybe he could teach us how does that happen.
Sure.
And we needed someone to show us how we could be our own rap group you know, hip hop artists. So we would go and practice at his house where all of the local talent went. Like everybody before they were somebody was coming to Godfather D house to practice.
Understood.
So that's how I think we segue. That's how I met Apache, actually, because I didn't just want to be a MC or a lyricist that other males wrote for. I wanted to write my own rhymes.
Sure.
So he introduced me. He's like, you know, it would be a great person for you to learn from is Apache. And now this is before I knew, you know, he was Apache.
Yeah.
So I think he was living at Irvington at the time. Okay. I went over to his house and I remember sitting on the porch and he's telling me all of the ways on how to write a rhyme, how to structure a song. And he just gave me some inspiration. Full circle, years later, you know, we wound up working together again. But even before that, that's how I met, again, creating those relationships and those bonds.
That's right.
And got Backspin. He was the DJ along with Godfather D that would put out mixtapes. So that's what was circulating through the hood was the mixtapes. And it was like, all right, so maybe if I take all these skills I'm learning and put it on the mixtape, that was our social media, was the mixtape.
Yeah.
So from there, I think I want to say it was this one particular rhyme that I had on Godfather D's mixtape that came across Tretch's radio, and he was like, I love that verse. So I'm like, oh, okay. So that was making me feel like maybe I could really do this, but I didn't really think of it as a career. I thought it was like maybe I could do a few shows, get some money, and maybe buy my mom a house, and that would be it, get a job and whatever. But
right.
Once we started practicing and becoming a real group, I think we were introduced to other people who I guess wanted to help us go further and further. Twist, you want to add to that?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, you know, it was other people as well. Like, got to give my props to Jay Scratch. He was very integral into you know, me coming up in the game as well. And like Cool V was integral. I used to sit and watch KG and from Naughty and Mufi, all of them. They used to sit and do beats, and I would just learn by watching, and then, you know, they would let me get on and try to do my little beats and stuff. And like Kandi mentioned, my mom had this extensive collection of 45s. So you know, I had. Did you say?
Wait a minute. Did you say 45? For the kids out there that don't know what that is, she said 45s, baby. Yes. 45s. Go ahead.
I'm hitting with something else. Vinyl.
Ooh, yes.
Vinyl's coming back out.
Yeah, it is slowly. Yeah, I love it.
Like how they phased the vinyl out, the way that they did. But everything used to be on vinyl, either large size vinyl for those who don't know what I'm talking about, or smaller size vinyl that was called 45s. And so I just used to sit with them, and it was a lot of creativity. You know, like she said, I would go to Godfather D house, and you know, he was showing me some things, and Jay Scratch was showing me some things, and then it was just you know, my tenacity as well. I really wanted to do it. So you know, it's about building those relationships. Again, it all connects back to that. You don't want to burn any bridges. You want to, you know, I mean, because people will be willing to share information with you, and just off that alone, you could do whatever you want to do. And that's why all three of us have achieved whatever we said we were going to achieve, because we have that tenacity. We didn't burn bridges. People willing to share information, and we learn as we go. You're never too old to learn anything. So, you know, it was a lot of people that played a big part in us coming up, in us just, you know, keeping that drive. You know, sometimes you need somebody around you to right. So that's a lot of, you know, in that era, it was a lot of that going on. Like you could
Illtown and like everybody was into hip hop.
Everybody. And I even carried on to my house from what Godfather D did, because, you know, Kandi was saying anybody that was somebody would come to his house, and you know, they would, you know, be doing whatever, all the local talent. I carried that on, and then it turned into my house. So my house, it was 2 DJs in my house, and anyone that was anyone, or not even, you know, you just trying to come up in the game, you would come to my house, and it was just ciphers all the time.
Wow.
But
all the time.
So that's how it was going on all the time, because I was the one going to work. But there was a lot of people who really
we was hungry MCs, starving artists. That is a real thing.
Oh, absolutely. Twista, I gotta ask you a question. Who were some of your inspirations? Who were some people that inspired you while you were DJing? I mean, I could name a few, but I don't know who inspired you. It doesn't have to be female, but maybe it was, because there was some hot female DJs out there too that was on the wheels and steels. So if you would,
dominated industry. So honestly, the people that I looked at was really male. But you know, I gotta get the shout out to Jazzy Joyce. I love Jazzy Joyce and Sweet Tea. So you know, I gotta get a shout out to them. But it was like a lot of producers, because I really got into production. But like before the production, it was the DJing phase where, you know, like Rob Swift and it was like, I cannot think of the name of their crew to save my life. I'm so sorry.
Superman?
Yes.
Superman, I think it's Steve.
Rob Swift, all of them. They were turntablists. So they beat juggle. They take 2 pieces of vinyl and turn it into a whole different song. A whole different. So I was really heavy into that. My ex, he used to do tricks on the turntables and stuff like that. So it was a lot of DJs in that era. And then I had the beats when I was really getting into the beats, you know, like Cool V and Premier, Scratch, Timbaland, like you name it. I love all of their beats, all of their, like, well, not all, but I love most of their beats.
I get it. Yeah.
Everybody, right?
That's right.
But a lot of their beats and stuff, like I like the hard, you know, the hardcore beats. That was really what I was really into. And
just to add, sure. There was one name that you said, Asiatic. Yeah, Asiatic was he was like our brother, and we actually started an independent record label called True Records.
I love it,
because when we may have about 3 or 4 albums already recorded as demos. Wow. We never got signed, or I think we had a production deal through Capitol when Pookie was KG's brother was managing us. So we had a production deal off of working. I think he was managing Milkbone at the time. So we never actually got to put out a song or an album. So we said, you know what, we're going to do it ourselves. And so we went and hooked up with Asiatic and created True Records. Wow. And we recorded M.O. Money, and which Sah's doing the hook on that. Yeah. And we recorded a video. We filmed a video with that. Who Tut, again, our relationships in the hood. Shane and Tut, you know, help finance, or they financed the video for us to for the song, the single M.O. Money, and we did the B-side of the track, which was Keep It in the Family. And small fact on that Keep It in the Family, that track, actually Mobb Deep and Kool G Rap, who was one of my favorite MCs, actually recorded on that beat. No question. I want to say our beat, but that's but but Asiatic definitely played a role into helping us create on that journey and trying to create this memory, this journey through hip hop. Yeah.
I love the fact that you guys, it's such a, when you look at New Jersey on the map, right? When you look at it on the map, it seems so small, but it's so large. The hip hop community is so huge in New Jersey. I'm just sitting here listening to you, and it's like a branch.
Oh yeah.
It just keeps going and going.
It's 20 minutes from New York.
Right.
So we were like right on the outskirts of what was happening in New York. So, but
I felt like some of the best MCs came out of New Jersey. When I sit back and I really think about the plethora of MCs that came out of that area. I mean, I even got to give props to Shaquille O'Neal. He did.
Shaquille O'Neal.
He used to come to my house. Shaquille O'Neal used to come to my house, literally. Because he was rhyming, and my ex used to DJ for him. So
that's what I mean. You have Naughty by Nature. Heard you mention Tretch. I had a chance to see Vinny within the documentary. So this was just beautiful. I was like, wow, so much inspiration around you all. And you know what I love? You guys are still continuing. You didn't quit. You're still going.
We just went a different
path. And I love it. The light path, I like to say. You know what I'm saying? The light path. Yeah. And it's beautiful as you guys continue to journey on. You guys have built, again, this sisterhood that is unbreakable. And it's beautiful to see. It's such a message within that. But I got to ask you a question to the three of you. Have you guys ever had a disagreement? Because now Greg,
we're like I'm sure everybody at some point had a disagreement with their mom.
That's
right.
That's right.
Yeah, there was some
disagreement with Sah though. I never had a disagreement.
I never had a disagreement with Sah either.
Oh, really?
But Twista and I
so amenable, right? She's so amenable, like as long as it makes sense, she will.
I got you.
As long as it makes sense, and it's
I got you.
So she don't go along to get along, but if it makes sense, she down. So
it makes sense.
Like, we make sense. But
I got
Kandi and I are like sisters. We have almost cracked each other out maybe one time or something. But
you gotta take it like, look, we've been friends since
absolutely
5th grade. Like we were passing notes when you texting each other now in class. We were passing notes to each other. We're getting suspended together. We're getting on detention. So, there was a time where we may have had a little not being able to see eye to eye on some things, and maybe we didn't speak for a while. But the thing about when something is destined to be, when it's true sisterhood, you find your way back. And we've been very close ever since. We're like sisters, literally.
Yes. This is beautiful. As we stated before, you guys have went a different path. And I was listening a little bit today to one of the tracks, Kandi and Sah-B, that you all on. I guess DJ is DJ Twista. I imagine you're on that track too. On the wheels and steels with the beat.
Depends on which song it is.
Woman to Woman.
Okay.
And so I listened to Woman all the way through, and I was like, man, this is dope. It's almost like, why isn't this like, well,
that's what I said. I mean,
the writing.
That's what I said.
But yeah, if you could speak to that, what was the creative process like when you guys wrote, when you guys performed and wrote Woman to Woman? I know, but for those that may not have heard it yet, and they will after this, because we're going to push it. But after, if you would, kind of talk about your creative process when you approach a song, period. And it doesn't matter who answers that. You guys go, I'll let y'all go around the room with that one. Go ahead, Sah.
I'm trying to remember when we did Woman to Woman. I believe we were in Mufi's studio, and we actually wrote that song together. If I'm not mistaken. I mean, we may
it was
have
like a movement, right?
Yeah,
it was like a movement. T-shirts and everything.
Gotcha.
Yep. Because what happened, we did the song, and one thing I like about the creative process of when we actually did that song, it wasn't just like, oh, I came in with the verse, Kain came in with the verse. We were very strategic about placement, what line, whatever line you end with, then Kain will come right on top of and just kind of finish the line. Maybe it would be half of a bar or whatever. But if you listen to it, it was very intentional on how I would finish the line and she would come in with the line, just to kind of compliment what I was saying. And after that song, that, like Twist was saying, Kain was the mastermind in forming this whole woman to woman clique, because that song actually took off into a whole movement where we had singers, we had female management, we had Twist was the producer, DJ, we had almost like a female Wu-Tang, and we were touring, we were doing shows, we had merch, T-shirts, like we had it was a full crew of females that was just killing it in the industry. And so that was part of the creative process for that particular song. But we did several songs after that, because even Backspin was the DJ producer, and he was putting out mixtapes, but he had I don't even know how that project came about, where he it was somebody from Aftermath, right, Kain, who wanted to
they were looking for a female artist. So we figured we would try to do something as a group. So we started recording all these songs.
We put like a little EP together. But my creative process has kind of changed over the years, but coming up with ideas could be from just having conversations, hearing somebody say something, just living life, and now once you're in your creative space, everything that you see, hear, smell, taste can become, something creative that you write about, getting tracks, and just writing, right into the beat, driving in the car. When I'm in my car, I'm listening to tracks and just, vibing out, But now with the technology, because back in the day, coming up with words, you had to actually read, and, I was a real big dictionary person,
gotcha.
I was one of those library kids. Like I used to always go to the library. I was an avid reader. But if you're a writer, your dictionary, your thesaurus, those were your best tools for writing. Now we read so many resources and tools now right at your fingertips. And I'm like, and some of the rhymes that I hear, I'm like, that's all they could come up with all these resources. It's so many words, but so that's just how the creative process is now. And it's just, coming up with ideas and, and knowing more about literary devices now. I'm more intentional about what kind of music I want to, create. Is this something that's going to have a message? Is it going to be education? Is it going to just be a box? Something somebody could just vibe up to, and just being very intentional with, your words now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would piggyback on that. It's about ideas and words, like, because I kind of was running the streets a lot, and I had a lot of street culture about me. And initially, I just wanted to be an MC and be in the industry or the artistry of it all, because I love to write, and I really wanted to be an author. That was my thing. This would get me some exposure, and then I could put out my line of books. I wanted at that time to be like, I was a big Donald Goines fan. So I grew up reading the whole collection of Donald Goines books. So I would take my imagination and write conceptual songs about things that I read in his books, but also some of the experiences I was having by, kind of running the streets.
Sure.
And So I initially just really wanted to be an author. This kind of morphed into something else. Yeah. But piggybacking on what Sah was saying about words, like I would find words everywhere. I would be in a TV guide. Oh, don't let me find a TV guide. Like,
man, I ain't seen a TV guide in years. I love it.
Yes. So I'm finding words in TV guides. I find words on the ingredients on some food. Like my mother be like, stop writing on everything. Like I'm writing on matchbooks. I'm writing on everything, you know, just little pieces of paper of my rhymes. Yeah. So words was, that was the whole thing, was about saying, I want to say a word that nobody's ever said before. Yeah. I want to flip it a way that nobody's ever flipped it before. Right. So it was about your artistry with your wordsmith and your wordsmith game. So that was my process, and my idea about writing is really just finding unique words that people weren't using and flipping it in a way that they wouldn't expect it to be used, and building it into a story, or really like hardcore rhymes. Like that was my whole thing, is battle. I wouldn't call them really battle rhymes. I'm just talking about how fly I am, and nobody can touch me. Right. So, and I need a different way to say it in all these different verses.
Yeah. So yeah. And DJ Twista, I want to go back to you too. I want to talk about your creative process too, as it pertains to making beats and, you know, doing your break beats, and how that all ties in as well with your creative process. I'm sure you probably listen to so many 45s and
oh my God, my family love music. I mean, I have 5 sisters, and the one that's next to me is 10 years older than me. So just imagine, like, they're so much older than me. So I would, you know, hear all those songs. I write down the words to the songs and stuff. Like, oh my gosh, like, I used to know all the words to all the songs that came on the radio. But you know, when I first started out making beats, it was definitely hardcore hip hop, because in that era came up with Straight Thugs. They was starving artists, and it's all about technical skills. And you was going to do some hard beats that was underground. You was not coming with nothing commercial. Get out of here with that club and all of that stuff. Right. Then it morphed into, like, you know, hip hop and R&B for me. You know, that became a little bit more acceptable, and that was a little bit more jolly. But really, like, when I first started, the creative process was basically the people that was around me, and just, you know, the energy, and the energy, like, you know, underground, boom, hardcore, like, you know, them drums hitting and stuff like that. And
without a doubt.
Yeah, so that's what shaped and formed, like, the beats that I was making. It just always used to come out like art.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You know, I wanted to say this, you know, when Kain came in, when I saw her, it took me back. You know, that's why I love whenever you go to the city, whenever we go to New York, or whenever we travel to New Jersey, or even Connecticut, you can just see the influence of hip hop, and it really brings chills everywhere. Whenever you go. Yeah, everywhere. So I was going to say that. So when I saw Kandi, then I saw Sah-B, and then I saw DJ Twista, and I said, man, all the way from the hairstyles to the bangles to the earrings, I was like, they're screaming hip hop very loudly. And I absolutely love that, though, because that's the true essence of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even from the bamboo earrings till even to the crown on your head.
You know I came with the Kazals, so you know I'm coming with the Kazals, but you know.
Listen, I saw
hip hop every day, 24/7. 24/7.
Yes. So yes, we're down south, so I bought me a pair of 40 below Timbs, and my mom was like, get that coat. I said, well, I'm wearing them because I saw Red Man with them on. I'm putting them on.
You gotta make sure you wear them in the summer. Make sure you wear them. Did you wear them with the shorts? Did you wear them with the shorts?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay, son.
Yeah, and they were fatigue. I had fatigue from head to toe. With my bandana on.
Right.
That was a beautiful time. It just
it's a beautiful
brings
time.
you back to some good memories.
It really was. I miss that era. You know, I still go back and look at old videos. When I heard you say Coogee rap, I lit up because that was, you know, oh man, wow. I'm still a huge Nas fan. I listen to everything Nas. I like everybody else, but I'm just a huge fan of Nas, Coogee rap. Yeah, just, you know. But at any rate,
I have a question for you. So, you know, you're saying like, you know, you missed that era, and you're naming everybody that you're naming basically was coming up when we was coming up. They were like hard in the game.
Yes.
So what about the B Girls documentary brought that excitement? Like when you say excitement, define what you mean by excitement. Was it nostalgia? It was
a lot of nostalgia from seeing Sah-B in the Jeep. You know, my friend had a Suzuki Jeep during that era, and we used to ride around, and he was from Buffalo. And so I remember when he came down from Buffalo, he had that Suzuki Jeep. And I just remember all the time us riding out, listening to Tribe, listening to Jungle Brothers, listening to Lords of the Underground. I mean, anything that you can name hip hop. But of course, it was cassettes then. Oh, yeah. And he had a great Kenwood system that was set in the back. And it was just a great time. And then he introduced me to so much more. Even though I had a huge knowledge, he brought something else. And so when he came down, I started almost changing how I talk. I was trying to use this vernacular. I was trying to change.
That happened.
My mom, it does. So the culture just kind of takes over you, and you want to be a part of it. You just want to embrace it. So to answer your question, it was everything about it. When I saw Sah-B's video, I thought about Dana Dane's video. You know, I thought about Slick Rick's video, just the style. Even from wearing Bally's to Clark's to Tim's, just everything about it, the suede Kangos and the, you know, just everything about, even when I think about EPMD, I mean, everybody you can think of, it brought back that, even from the B Girls, your cover, the graffiti B Girls, you know, I got goosebumps now. The whole time y'all was talking, I had goosebumps. I was like, that was just such a great time and a great era in hip hop. And, you know, when you get older, when you're getting older and I love DOS Effects too, by the way, too. I was a huge fan of DOS Effects.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, man. So I know I'm getting older because now my son introduced me to something. We was in the car. And he said, Dad, you should listen to this, because I'm always playing, between me and my brother, we always play our sons old school hip hop, you know, Big Daddy Kain, whatever, anything old school. And my son was like, I want you to listen to this. I'm not going to say who the artist was, but I said, I was listening to it. I liked the beat. And then all of a sudden I heard something. I was like, whoa, hold on, man. Hold on. Do you know what they talking about? You know, it makes you, I say, man, I'm getting older. I'm getting older because now my son, you know, it's just a little different. It's, you know,
it is different.
It's different. I think even our hard stuff was soft to what we hear today, in my opinion. That's my opinion. It just seems that way, but maybe not. But I am super excited about the evolution of hip hop, meaning I'm glad to see that they're able to take care of their families. I'm glad to see that they're able to do certain things like start businesses and things of that nature, but it's a hefty price that they're paying to do those things. And I think for me, that concerns me. That just kind of concerns me, the price tag that comes along with everything that they're getting. So for me, I'm concerned about that. I don't want anybody, and I think for all of us, I don't want anybody to lose themselves, because it's okay to tell a story, but once you start really living the life, it's a different, the storytelling becomes real. And it's like, all right, these guys are serious about what they talking about. This is not a story they're telling about their life.
Right.
They're living it. And so, you know, so that's, I think for me, that's the scary part. But to answer your question, and then I'll let you guys continue to talk. Yes, it brought back nostalgia. It brought back a lot of joy. The haircuts, the colors, even from the collars being turned up, because I used to wear my polo shirt turned up, and just everything about those videos were the videos and everything about it. Just hearing, I mean, rest in peace, Biz Markie. Like just hearing the names and the people, it took me back to high school. It automatically took me back to high school.
Yeah,
it did. It just took me back to high school. It took me back to when my mom first bought me Run DMC and LL Cool J. She took us to our first rap concert, and well, she didn't take us. She allowed us to go by herself. So it was just amazing. I think Keith Sweat was headlining then. I think it was in the early. So that was early in that time. I think LL Cool J Radio was out then. That's when it really just started. Hip hop was mainstream. So yeah, but I appreciate you guys doing this. So a lot of nostalgia. I'm rambling right now because it just brought like a whole lot of excitement.
Yeah, it does.
That's exactly what it does.
It makes you think about the
it does.
The good times and
yes, it does. And if nobody else tells you, excuse me, I'm going to tell you here. We're excited. We're proud of you all and the accomplishments that you guys have made. And I gotta piggyback off of what Vinny said. Just because you're unheard does not mean you're not successful, because you ladies are, again, taking this thing to a whole nother level. You guys have taken into the nonprofit space. So whoever wants to talk about what you're doing within this nonprofit space of Unheard, what is the Unheard B Girls LLC? Could you kind of talk about that movement and how this evolved and how this came about? Whoever want to go first.
Well, I think Sisters for Sisters, that's the name of our nonprofit organization.
Okay, thank you.
Sisters for Sisters.
Thank you.
Actually was birthed through hip hop though, because when Twista and we had the group called Sisterhood, spelled SYSTA.
Okay.
And we were kind of already in the hood, and we have younger sisters. And I think what happened was one day my younger sister was beefing with another young lady, and I was able to kind of resolve the conflict. And I was like, wow, that was kind of powerful, and it made me feel good.
Sure.
And I was like, you know what? These young ladies need somebody to really talk to, because all they needed was somebody to mediate a disagreement.
Yes.
And once I saw that, and I thought to myself, like, you know what? This is a role that, some people say you're not role models. Don't look at me as a role model, but you do have a responsibility when you put yourself out there.
I agree.
In the public to kind of be mindful of what you do.
Yeah.
But I think what starting the organization came about was at the time there was Yo-Yo that was out, and she had the IBWC, which was I think it's the International Black Women's Coalition. And I thought that was really dope. Kind of bringing together a bigger group of women together as a sisterhood bond. Sure. And I had this, at that time that Sister Soldier was out. I had a little radicalism about myself. So kind of combining that idea all together, it was like, being in, running around in the streets, you see what things that girls could get into.
Oh, absolutely.
And just having somebody to kind of grab them by the hand and say, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Here's what you could be doing with your time.
That's right.
And we understood at that time, I think the issue at that time was teen pregnancy. So it was a lot of young girls that were getting pregnant. Yeah, gangs and teen pregnancy was the main thing back then.
Okay,
and they were reducing the funding for any extracurricular activities. Remember, you used to go on field trips. You used to go to the civic centers and stuff like that. They eliminated funding for all of that, so it was nothing for anybody to get in trouble.
And HIV and STDs too was
right.
Issues that was real in the community.
So instead of keep talking about the problem, we said, let's jump in and become a part of the solution.
That's
let's
right.
create a solution. And we found, I think it was a property owner on Munn Avenue in East Orange, he let us use his basement, and we started doing after school programs impromptu there.
I love it.
And then I think there was the welfare office that was on Central Avenue in East Orange, and they allowed us to use space there.
I love that.
And so we started doing our programs there, and then the high schools would allow us to come in and do our programs. And at this time, we weren't really sure about, I think one of the young ladies that was, her mother worked in City Hall, and she told us about, you know, grants, and we need to be a nonprofit organization. So we all figured out, all right, how we're going to fill out this application. How do we become a 501c3? So we started to do everything ourselves. We didn't have money for a lawyer, so we figured out how to complete the application ourselves. The other co-founding members of Sisters for Sisters, Keisha Thomas and Adrian McCall. Keisha was a Delta at the time, so she kind of had a background on how to organize and structure community services, and we kind of just was putting together a program on how we wanted to run it and kind of like be the Girl Scouts of the hood, like take them on field trips and exposing the girls to things that maybe they weren't being exposed to in their household, because at that time, you know, most of the households in our city was ran by females. And if they're working all day long, by the time they come home from work, you know, they don't really have time except to put some food on the table and get you ready for bed. So we were like the kind of stand-in. We was the mommy assistants. We were the big sisters. That's right. So that's the kind of role we figured we could play a part in. Instead of keep talking about the problems, let's be a part of that solution.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm so glad. Now, how can people donate to your organization, to the organization, if they would like to?
Oh, we would love that. If you go to our website, which is www.4sinc.org, there's a donate page. We also are taking donations for prom dresses, because we also donate dresses to individuals, young women who may be going to proms or socials who may not have the expenses to pay for, like proms right now can be pretty expensive. So a lot of women are donating dresses, brand new dresses, and we have a boutique where they do a pop-up shop in our Hillside location, and they come and they can pick out a dress, accessories, shoes, get fitted for the whole prom, and socials or whatever. And so if you would like to donate, please go to our website. You could contact us. Our email address is there as well. It's connectingsisters@gmail.com. And we would love your support.
I absolutely love it. And we're going to do something special for you on this end. Once we get ready to close this out, we're going to do something special so you will have space on my platform. I'm telling you that right now. We're going to make sure you can do like a little commercial or something for it. So we'll make sure we do our part on this end to make sure we advertise that and keep it in rotation on our shows. That's something I want to gift to you all. From me, from the Ross Cloud podcast. We're going to make that happen. I have Jamal. If you don't do nothing, but just do like a quick little commercial. We'll run it on our show in the middle of our shows. And we're going to gift that from us to you, because we totally understand. I know I do. Woo. It's just a doozy being an entrepreneur when you're building something from the ground up, when you don't want other people controlling it, so you can keep the narrative the way you want to keep it. That's so important and valuable to us. Yes. So I'm excited for you all. I'm excited to see what you guys are going to do next. Let's talk a little bit about how the documentary came about. We may have to do a commercial in this one too, won't we, Jamal? But we'll add it in because we're pre-recording it. But if you would, can you talk about how the documentary came about and how all of this began? And then afterwards, we'll close and you can tell the folks how they can watch it. But let's talk a little bit about the documentary, if you would. I don't care who goes first.
Go ahead, Ken, because Ken was the one who kind of spearheaded the whole project.
I guess I'm the Lucille Ball. I'm always one with an idea, the crazy, like, know what we should try? That would be me. So basically, I like to collect things, and especially memorabilia, especially as it's related to hip hop. And I was going through a lot of pictures, old photographs, cause like you said, a bunch of cassette tapes, demos. And I was like, wow, I need a way to archive this, because this is something like this is, I mean, it may not qualify for the hip hop museum, but it does have some value to it. Because it is a resource of information. So I really just initially wanted to catalog and archive some things. And Mike Anderson was working with my husband on some projects, and he was telling me about this producer and filmmaker. And I was like, I wonder if he could help me just create a short little film or a video, piece all of this together. And it started snowballing into something else. And I couldn't tell my story or without including Twista. And then the story also included Sah-B. Then the story included so many other phenomenal hip hop artists. Like even with our logo, the sisterhood logo, Tame One of the Artifacts did our logo.
I love it.
And it was like, okay, we have so many different connections and relationships with people. It became starting with kind of archive things to now let's bring in other people. Let's celebrate everybody else in the hood that was doing the same thing we were doing, trying to get where we were trying to get. Let's celebrate them too. So it kind of just morphed into something bigger. I wanted to tell everybody's story a little bit and see how it interwove into our story. So once I hit Sah, I was like, what do you think about it? Well, first I went to Twista, and Twista, she's like, well, okay. So she's the organizer. She's the project manager.
I got you. I love
so she's like, I'm going to organize it. We have to be, have some organization. Got to set up the charters and everything. Sah's like, okay, I have some, Sah's with it. Like Twist said, if it makes sense, Sah's like, okay, this is what I could do. And so then we just started building, and then we started having weekly meetings, very structured and organized.
That's right.
I think then the pandemic hit. And then we was introduced to Zoom. And then once Zoom happened, we were still like, we were able to communicate online, virtually. And then we would, Zoom in with Mike Anderson. Then we're Zooming in with Tariq Raymond Spencer, who did the editing for us. Urban Drone. Urban Drone.
Urban Drone.
So he did the editing, and then now we're interfacing with Mufi, who's doing the soundtrack. Then we're interfacing with Double M, who did the mastering.
Wow.
And it just kept connecting, and it kept just blowing up into something bigger and bigger. And next thing you know, we were talking about, all right, so now that we get this point and we've invested in this project.
That's right.
And it's like, where do we go from here? Because now we have something that we could possibly monetize. And then it was trying to, getting advice from other people. And then we're doing research. We're doing YouTube research. We're Googling. And then we're figuring out how to pull all of this together. When we started out, just trying to put together a little video. And unbeknownst to us, we were becoming film producers.
I love it.
And I think there's some other little integral parts I may be missing, and Sah, help me out. I'm gonna pass the mic to you, Sah.
That was pretty much how we how the idea materialized, based on Kandi wanting to, find a formal way to put all of her archives and artifacts and just kind of preserve it for the culture. And then like she said, once we got organized, we came up with a strategic plan. We set goals for ourselves, and we just stayed consistent. It wasn't something that just happened overnight. I mean, this project took us, I want to say the timeline, was it about 3 years or so? So we were
I think about 3 years.
Because, while we were working on this project, we were still, doing other things in the background. So, we committed to at least working with each other once a week and pretty much setting, milestones and goals and for ourselves, and then just kind of sticking with it. And I remember when we initially got started, we were able to showcase what we had so far of the documentary. We were able to showcase that in the Newark Film Festival. So
beautiful.
Once we showcased it, we got some feedback, and I want to say we got some like gut punching feedback from Vinny, because we had dinner after the screening. And so it was some great feedback, because we were able to go back to the drawing board, make some changes, and really pull in some professionals to help take our project to the next level. Because we didn't know where we were going to go with the project, like how we were going to put it out. And then we just started doing the research on, and we did it all collectively. So, I always give us kudos for just sticking in there and just doing the legwork. 3 heads are better than one, and we come together. And we just made it happen. So
you did.
And we were seriously, deeply involved. We didn't just leave it in people's hands. And
Absolutely.
Then, it was our story to tell, and we know how to tell it. But honestly, what you watched was not an intentional, that was the order in which everything happened. We pieced it together that way. We have all of the footage and was able to tell a story the way that you see it by really being involved. I mean, it was painful. It was
painful. I'm sure.
Because one of the challenges is that we're all in different places, like Kain in North Carolina, I'm in Newark, and Phillipsburg, and we trying to, meet virtually and give the directions to the editor of what we really want. So you have to be very explicit and organized.
That's right.
We had to come up with documents, sharing documents, and just using the technology and our organizational skills to really, be specific. Because when you can't sit down with the editor, and tell them, okay, this is where I want,
So, you have to be able to communicate it. One thing I do want to, or a shout out, I guess, I want to give a big shout out to Cool V, because he kept always encouraging us and always having our back, and believing in us, even when we get to the point where we'd be like, no, you can't stop. And he knows, he knows me well enough to know that, I'm sometimes a perfectionist, and they probably would have stayed in the can, as they say, for the longest. And he's like, you got to put it out. You got to let it go. You can't take this to the grave with you.
That's right.
Put your story out there. And he's an example of that. He's pushing his product out. He has so many books on symphony. That's on the symphony, but he has a book out called Symphony 1, 2, and I think it's 3. And he's working on a film now. And he's just always been a big cheerleader for us. And that goes back to relationships that you were talking about, having someone to have a great relationship that will encourage you, but also with Vin, to be honest with you. Because anybody can tell you that was good. That was good. Good. Wait, someone they say, nah, I'm not going to let you go out like that. Nah, y'all need to go back and fix that. He was very brutal. He was like, some of that's cringeworthy. It's cringy. And I was like, but at the same time, you need that critique and be able to accept critique and feedback and use it to make yourself better, improve yourself.
That's right. In order to grow. That's absolutely right. You definitely need that. You don't need a lot of yes men around.
Nope.
You need somebody to tell you the truth. If it's not right, they should be able to tell you, and you be okay with it. So I think that's beautiful. Can you tell the folks how they can watch it, how they can view it on those platforms?
Wow. You could go to Tubi. Everybody like, who's going to go for? Please go to Tubi. If you're not going to find it on the thumbnail, right? So I went to Tubi myself and tried to find it, but you have to go to the search bar and put B Girls in it. That's BGYRLZ.
Just all you need is BGY. Just 3 letters. BGY, and it will pop right up. But you got to put it in the search bar.
Yeah, that's what it did for me too.
Right. And you could go to Apple TV.
Yep.
It's streaming there. And also on Roku, you can find it on Fawsome.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Listen, ladies, this right here has just been an absolute joy for me. Took me back down memory lane. I totally enjoyed this conversation. And I look forward to possibly doing a part 2 too, because I'm sure you ladies, I'm sure there's so much more we could probably talk about. Absolutely. And I'm sure we could do something else. And we'll just make that happen. However it happens, but I think this right here has been amazing. If you would, everybody, if they could just go around the room and just tell the folks how they can follow you. Sah-B, you could tell folks how they can get your music, Twista, and so on and so on. All right, ladies, it's in your hands, and then we'll get ready to close out.
All right, Sah-B.
Well, you can add me at Sah-Beezy. That's SAHBEEZY on all platforms. I have a single out right now, 4C Hair Don't Care. It's available on all major platforms. And I am working on a new album, a new project. So that'll be out hopefully fall. I'm shooting for the fall. So, but if you connect with me, you can stay abreast of what we're putting out.
I love it.
For me, it's just on Instagram. You can reach me at Twista, TWISTA, DJ 1200 or 1200 DJ Twista. Don't ask me why, but I had to make it.
No, you're good.
Right.
It's all good. It's all good.
And you could connect with us, and after watching the film, if you got some feedback, you have questions, you just want to share your story, you can add us at BGirls, BGYRLZ .life, BGirls Life. That's on Instagram. And if you want to holler at me, I'm at Kandi, KAND _Reigns, REIGNZ. But yeah, we would love to hear from you, especially after you've seen the film. Give your feedback, comments, critiques, suggestions, who you'd like to maybe see unheard from as well. So, get at us, engage with us at BGirls.life.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, B Girls, again, for gracing us with your presence here on the Ross Cloud podcast. This has been just absolutely amazing. We really do appreciate you all. And you guys are like hip hop history, if you ask me. You guys are embedded in the culture, and it's to be appreciated and to be valued. And we value you all here at the Ross Cloud podcast. And hopefully we can continue to broaden the spectrum of people even knowing even more about you all, because it's necessary for history, it's necessary for culture, and it's definitely necessary for hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Stop.
So this is won't stop, right?
And we want to thank you for having us, and thank you for having this platform for entrepreneurs and individuals like ourselves that are trying to grow and spread love. And thank you for having this platform for us.
Absolutely. Yes, you're very, very welcome to all of you all. Listen, I hope something that was said to someone today that can help them become a better you. Listen, this is the Ross Cloud podcast. I'm Chris Ross. Make it a great day and keep being great. Peace.
Peace. It's Sah-B.
It's Kandi Kain.
And this is DJ Twista. If you want to support a great cause and donate, contact us on www.s4sinc.org.
Supporting young sisters toward achieving success.